9:29, we're going to go back out to our live look at the Bay Bridge with an army of police officers, CHP, special units, and buses that are there to take hundreds of protesters off of the Bay Bridge.
Yeah, those protesters blocked all westbound lanes heading into San Francisco right there at Yerba Buena Island. And in the middle of all that, as police now are beginning to collect up the demonstrators and lead them away, is our own Will Tran on scene, joining us by phone now with a first-hand look at exactly what is happening. Will, describe the scene.
James, I am looking at hundreds of police officers here, a lot of them tying up as far as handcuffing the protesters, and many others just standing at attention in case anything should break out. I'm at times shoulder to shoulder with the protesters. That's how close I am. They are being processed right now. So it looks like they're not being dragged to their feet. They are standing. They're walking peacefully with the police officers. They're emptying their pockets, putting all of their contents into a plastic bag, getting processed. And maybe that's why it's taking a little bit longer than a lot of people would like. But they are being processed. They are chanting while they're being processed, ceasefire, ceasefire now. They're also chanting, how many children have you killed today? Obviously, they're protesting what's going on in the Middle East. They are pro-Palestine, but they're made up of all races. So I just want people to know that all races are here. I am looking literally right now at cars being put on flatbed trucks, and they're bringing in Caltrans trucks and tow trucks as well. So we're not just talking private businesses, but also Caltrans. They're ushering their resources moving in as quickly as they possibly can. This is having collateral damage to the eastbound direction as well. It is very slow and go on the other side. At this particular point, not sure how many protesters are left, but they are doing this as quickly as they possibly can. Just in my time here, I probably have seen about 50 to 60 protesters already being processed and put into trucks, buses, I should say, and those buses are from the San Francisco Sheriff's Department. They are here as well, so they are part of the mutual aid. This area here is basically taken over completely by police officers, even cars that are beyond this point, James and Dory, at YBI, and they want to merge from YBI and head westbound. They're not being allowed to even hop on there because they want full access on the upper deck of the Bay Bridge just so they can move the vehicles and the protesters and the buses off the Bay Bridge as quickly as they possibly can. It is peaceful. Some of them are chanting. Some of them are standing still, but it looks like they are willfully, wantingly, of course, wanting to be arrested just to send a message, obviously, with the APEC conference going on right now.
Will, that are not just the first line that stopped, but kind of littered throughout the bridge that were involved in this, that were deserted, because all of those people got there in cars. So I wonder how many cars you've seen towed so far and how many you really might even guesstimate are on there that have to be towed away.
I got here at the top at 9 o'clock. I can tell you in my time, I've probably seen about 7 to 8 cars. It's not like they can't do it quickly. I believe it's just getting the tow trucks here as they quickly as possibly can because they too are stuck in traffic. We're not talking a small tow truck. That would be hard enough, much less Caltrans tow trucks. And they are a lot bigger than your average business tow truck. So they have to mobilize here as well. And I would presume that's part of the problem. They're not driving against westbound traffic. I have not seen that as far as because the upper deck is open, there is the possibility that they could drive right down westbound, going in the opposite direction, but I don't see that at this particular time. So they probably will have to be ushered by police officers on the shoulder just to get to this location. And we're talking cars, we're talking police, protesters, buses, you name it. This is just gridlock that I've never seen before. I've seen protests, but this one has completely shut down everything on the westbound direction. I'm standing right here, safe and sound, no worries, next to a police officer as they are, again, some of them are processing, Others are standing at attention just in case. And right now it's peaceful, just in case anything should break out.
Well, Will, and on some of these live shots, as we sort of bounce back and forth between various cameras, I did see in one of those shots an ambulance standing by. Have you seen any need for that, or have the protesters been fairly peaceful and are compliant when approached by officers and told that, you know, we need to take you into custody?
They are very peaceful. This is civil disobedience probably at its purpose. Of course, they're not struggling as they're being handcuffed with the zip ties at all. They're standing at attention. Some of them not saying anything because they don't have to. Their T-shirt says it all, pro-Palestine, ceasefire. So their message is right on their chest. But This is civil disobedience, as you would think in the days of Dr. King. Nobody's fighting back. They are here, and they are wantingly, obviously, to send a message and wantingly to be arrested.
You know, I want to know, Will, too. We saw so many of them that were chained together with like these big black tubes. Have you seen them be transported with the tube on, or can they remove it? Yeah. Well, have you seen any of that?
I didn't see that. They are individually being walked by police officers. Some police officers are walking 3 at a time. Some are shoulder to shoulder. But if they were chained together, the police officers, they were able to disengage those chains. So it looks like they are just walking individually as if they were arrested by themselves walking down the street.
It's incredible they were able to pull this off, Will. I mean, they would have had to, because there were CHP stationed all over the bridge, all over the Bay Area to avoid this very thing. And we talked to a CHP officer and he said, well, we can't stop everything, but they really had this coordinated beforehand, obviously.
I would think it's pretty easy in the age of social media. How they weren't discovered, that's another part for intelligence. But this is pretty easy. We've seen sideshows, not as sophisticated as this, shut down the Bay Bridge. I think you just call 10 people, 12 people together. Let's form a line and let's stop at the same time. So in my opinion, in the age of social media, this couldn't be easier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so help us better understand the scene, because earlier we saw a number of demonstrators. They had their signs. They had everything blocked off. Are police, as far as you can tell, have they completely engulfed and have now beginning to process all those demonstrations, or are they just meeting up with a portion of the demonstration and there's still many more to go through that are still out there with their signs? What is the scene actually?
Well, to get a full view, I would need probably to look from above, but just from my vantage point, it is the protesters from where I'm standing, just to make sure I have a cell signal. From my vantage point, the protesters are outgunned, overwhelmed as far as numbers. The police officers, they threw everything that they could at this, and they are here, and they have their numbers. I'm sure if necessary, they'll call even more, but they have so many officers standing at attention, talking to other agencies, and Caltrans, as we speak, they're coming in with more tow trucks. So it's not just removing people, of course, it's the cars. It's going to be quite some time. And I was stuck on the eastbound side. By all means, avoid the Bay Bridge altogether, because it's rough even on the lower deck.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks a lot, Will. We're looking